Most parents naturally believe that more toys means more fun, more learning, and a happier childhood. And sometimes it does. Yet it can also be a gentle sign that toys aren't the whole story, because the brain doesn't only grow through new objects. It can also become restless when every quiet moment gets filled too quickly. Research on early development shows that when children rarely get space to feel a little bored, their attention system has fewer chances to practice settling. Curiosity has less room to spark on its own, and the need for constant novelty can start to feel like the only way to feel engaged. Before we go on, like and subscribe if you want calmer, more connected parenting ideas. And in the next part, you'll see why this tiny, often missed space can change everything. The first reason, boredom is where curiosity wakes up. Have you noticed how a child who says, "I'm bored," can 10 minutes later be completely absorbed in a game you never taught them? What if that nothing to do moment isn't a problem to solve, but a doorway their mind quietly needs? When entertainment arrives instantly, the brain doesn't have to search, combine, or wonder. It can simply consume, and the spark stays outside the child instead of forming inside. But when there's a gentle pause, you'll often see tiny experiments begin. A spoon becomes a drumstick, a couch becomes a mountain, a sock becomes a puppet. Nothing turns into a whole world. Some parents start leaving small, open-ended corners in the day, simple objects, a quiet floor, a little time, so the child gets to be the starter, not the follower. The second reason, boredom trains attention without pressure. Attention doesn't only grow through lessons. Sometimes it grows in the quiet moments when nothing exciting is happening. It can be surprising, but constant novelty can teach the brain to expect a new spark every few seconds, making ordinary moments feel strangely hard to stay with. In those small stretches of boredom, children rehearse a different skill, lingering, long enough for a thought to finish, long enough for a story to appear, long enough for play to deepen instead of restarting. You might notice it looks like fidgeting at first, then slowly turns into choosing one thing and sticking with it, stacking, sorting, drawing, pretending, without anyone pushing. And when that steadier focus starts to show up, the next parts will feel familiar in a good way, because attention and emotion often learn side by side. The third reason, boredom builds emotional muscle in small doses. Have you ever seen a child melt down not because something big happened, but because the moment suddenly felt empty? It's easy to miss how often an "I'm bored" is really a small wave of discomfort asking for a shape. When a child never meets that mild discomfort, they don't get many chances to learn what it feels like to ride it, notice it, breathe through it, and watch it fade. But when boredom is allowed in safe, small doses, something quiet begins to grow. They start naming what they feel, moving their body to settle, finding a rhythm, humming, pacing, building, drawing, without needing an instant rescue. And parents sometimes stay nearby with a calm presence, offering a simple anchor without filling the space. And the child learns through experience that feelings can pass. And once that becomes familiar, a new kind of confidence tends to appear, one that doesn't need constant fixing. The fourth reason, boredom strengthens independence and self-trust. What happens when a child realizes they can handle a slow moment without someone steering it for them? That shift is small on the outside and huge on the inside. When every gap gets filled by suggestions, screens, or new toys, children can learn to wait for direction, as if life starts only when someone else turns the key. But boredom gently invites a different message: I can begin. You might see them gather pillows for a fort, invent rules for a game, solve a tiny problem mid-play, or turn a simple task into a mission because they're practicing being the driver of their own experience. Parents often notice they're talking less and watching more, giving space for the child's ideas to land and grow. And when that self-trust builds, it quietly changes what they ask for next. The fifth reason, boredom reduces the more loop. Have you noticed how quickly "this is amazing" can turn into "what else do we have?" Even with a brand new toy? It can feel confusing, like nothing ever truly satisfies. When a child's brain gets used to constant novelty, the next thing can start to feel like the fastest path to excitement, and the present moment loses its flavor. Boredom interrupts that loop in a gentle way. It slows the chase, stretches enjoyment, and makes ordinary play feel richer again. Some parents begin to see longer stretches of contentment, returning to the same toy, deepening the same game, enjoying what's already there because the child isn't being pulled forward by the promise of more. And when wants feel softer instead of urgent, the whole home can breathe a little easier. Some of the most meaningful changes don't look big from the outside. They look like a quieter room, a softer pace, and a child who can be with themselves for a moment. A child may never say, "I need space to wonder," but you can often feel it in the way their body keeps searching when everything is already provided. Beneath the asking, there's a quiet wish to feel capable, steady, and connected. And for parents, it can be enough to offer less filling and more room, letting curiosity wake up, attention settle, feelings move through, self-trust grow, and the more loop loosen. Because when a child can meet a small, empty moment without here, something else begins to show up in daily life. It changes how they ask, how they wait, and how they return to you. If you feel comfortable, share your perspective in the comments. What does boredom look like in your home lately?